My husband John purposely created tension between my mother and me so we wouldn't communicate. The reason was for him to have more freedom to cheat. To keep up his lies, he kept adding more lies. It was all his selfish thinking. But lies eventually get exposed. His supposedly perfect alibi crumbled. Once my mother-in-law and I discovered the truth, we teamed up. What would be the fate of my lying husband? John had been making a fuss about his mom being sick, but after being deceived on purpose, the truth came out. What's your relationship with your mother-in-law like after marriage? Good? Terrible? The dynamic between a wife and mother-in-law can change based on compatibility and differing views, but the key factor is the husband's role. I believe this is crucial. Especially early in the marriage, the husband is the main source of information about his parents and the only way to interact with the mother-in-law. I didn't have the courage to approach them alone. So I relied on my husband for my relationship with his family. Of course, it's not like I didn't do anything myself. Whenever I had the chance, I'd suggest to my husband, "Why don't we invite your parents for dinner? It's Mother's Day next Sunday." Or when we went on trips, I'd say, "Let's bring this souvenir to your parents." I really tried to build a good relationship. But John was always against it from the start. "Mom and Dad don't like eating out, so inviting them might be a bother." Or, "Mom and Dad hate unexpected visitors. I'll give them the gift on my way back from work." It felt like he was avoiding any interaction between me and his parents. Honestly though, I was somewhat relieved since I was also nervous around my mother-in-law Lauren. But even after my efforts, my husband never agreed to let me interact with his parents. A year into our marriage, the only times I met my in-laws were during the wedding introduction, the wedding itself, and a brief visit on our first Christmas as a married couple. We didn't live far away, but my husband, whose workplace was near his parents' house, never took me along. I started to feel awkward and asked him, "Shouldn't I be visiting your parents since I'm your wife?" But he brushed off my concerns. I started to worry and decided to ask him directly. That's when I discovered the worst truth. "Hey, are you avoiding taking me to your parents' house? Do your parents hate me or something?" "No, it's not that. But I can't hide it anymore. I'm sorry, Irene." "What? What are you sorry for?" "Mom finds you a bit difficult to deal with and prefers to keep her distance from you." I knew something was off. Did I do something wrong to your mom? "I'm sorry, Irene. I didn't want to hurt you." "It's not your fault. It's just that Mom has an aversion to you." "An aversion? So she hates me? Why? What did I do?" "Everyone has people they just don't click with, you know. For Mom, that's you. You don't have to force yourself to get along. I'll handle visiting them." It was a big shock to hear that. After that, I couldn't bring myself to approach my in-laws anymore. Instead, my husband kept visiting them frequently. As an only child, his mom asked him to visit at least once a week. Recently, my in-laws have been calling him more often for errands. I get called to do shopping or change light bulbs. Taking care of them is a lot of work, he'd tell me, while diligently going to their place. Watching him, I thought, so she doesn't want to see me at all, but wants her son to visit her that often. Is she trying to get him back from me or something? It made me increasingly resentful towards her. I stopped visiting completely and avoided contacting her. If she hates me, I'll reciprocate. That was my defensive mindset, and I resigned myself to it. But it turned out this was all part of my husband's plan. One day after work, I ran into my mother-in-law at the supermarket. I honestly wanted to hide. She looked equally surprised and awkward. But I felt obligated to greet her out of basic manners. Hi, Lauren. Long time no see. Do you often come to the supermarket? Irene, what a surprise! I came here because our usual store is closed today. But what's going on with your outfit? She responded more warmly than I expected, which threw me off. Then she started scrutinizing my clothes. I braced myself for a comment, thinking, what is she going to tell me now? But I was wearing my work uniform, not something revealing or flashy, so I thought she couldn't criticize my outfit. What does she not like about my outfit then? I started, oh, this? It's my work uniform. I took on my jacket because it's warm today. She looked surprised and said, I thought you quit your job to be a housewife. Isn't that what you said? I was speechless. Something felt off. Lauren continued, my son told me you quit your job to be a housewife, but didn't do any housework and outsourced everything. That's why we've been giving him money to help with the bills. I was stunned. Who was she talking about? She continued, I was shocked to see you here since I thought you never cooked. And what's with the uniform? Did you get a new job? Sorry if I'm being intrusive. I know you don't really like me. I didn't mean to pry. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Was this really my mother-in-law? But it was definitely her. She tried to leave, but I stopped her to clear things up. Lauren, there seems to be a misunderstanding. I've always wanted to get to know you better. I never disliked you. Would you like to talk over a coffee? I was nervous. If she really did dislike me, my invitation would make our relationship worse. But she said, really? I've wanted to talk to you too. I'd love to get to know my daughter-in-law better. Relieved, I invited her to my house and we talked over coffee. John said he would be home a little late today, and she also told her husband that she would be returning home a bit late. So we were able to sit down at home, have some coffee, and talk about various things. That's when the shocking truth came out. My husband had told his mom that I didn't want to get close to her and her relatives, that I saw them as outsiders. He even told her to avoid contacting me. And all this from right after we got married. I have never said such a thing. And to me, he'd say, I'm visiting my parents today. We'll have dinner together. Or, Mom asked me to come over today because she needs help moving some big furniture. He'd stop by his parents' place twice a week. According to Lauren, though, he visited them only once a month, asking for money with excuses like, sorry, we're short on cash because Irene spends too much money on Uber Eats. It was clear my husband had been manipulating our relationship. The real enemy was my husband. This is too much. But why would my husband lie like this? I talked with Lauren and understood that he had been lying to both of us to keep us from becoming close and communicating directly. When I realized this, I felt relieved. I really was shocked and hurt to be told she disliked me. She felt the same way, saying, I wish I had the courage to talk to you sooner. She was so kind. I never knew how sweet she was. I regretted not making the first move. We talked a lot afterward, getting to know each other better and becoming friends. Our next topic was, why did John lie? The most obvious reason was cheating. He left home claiming to visit his parents, but he was seeing his mistress and asking for money from his mom. When I suspected he was cheating, I felt I couldn't forgive him and wanted a divorce. But I hesitated because it would end the new relationship with my mother-in-law. She said, if he's cheating, we must find out. Even if he's my son, I can't forgive betrayal. Let's catch him. You can dump him afterwards. Her support encouraged me. She's such a good mother-in-law. Why is her son such a jerk? Raising kids is tough, and humans are a mystery. Even though she said that, I was still hesitant. Is it really a good idea to expose his infidelity? I was worried she'd get hurt again. But contrary to my indecisiveness, a miracle happened. Just then, John called. "Hey, it's bad. Mom's sick. She's being hospitalized now." That's what he said. His mother was right in front of me, and I was confused. Wait, your mom is sick? I stammered. "It's okay. It's not life-threatening. Don't worry. But she'll be in the hospital, so I'll be with her for 3 days. I won't be home, but don't worry. And don't call her. Your call might stress her out, so no calls, okay? I'll be at the hospital, so no phone for the next few days," he said, and quickly hung up. So, is this a cheating trip? He's just like a moth flying into the flame. What a stupid husband. Doesn't he know he's caught? Hearing his blatant lie, I was enraged. He lied without any hesitation or guilt. This guy thinks I'm stupid. I realized he planned to lie forever, and my anger only grew. So I told Lauren everything. She said, "Perfect. If he's cheating, we'll catch him red-handed. Leave it to me. Let me do this as your mother-in-law." And she immediately called a detective. So we left it to the professionals to catch him in the act. Meanwhile, my mother-in-law and I prepared for divorce, moving out and claiming alimony, basically cutting ties with my husband. We were busy with these plans. 3 days later, my husband came home looking happy, but he was shocked to see both of us. "Why is Mom here? And why are you together?" He looked more and more pale. "Welcome back, honey. Did you enjoy your trip? Any souvenirs?" "I didn't go on a trip. I was, You said I was hospitalized, but I'm perfectly healthy. Why did you lie?" "Well, there was a work problem, but I was embarrassed to say it." "So you lied?" "Yes, work was tough." "I called your office. They said you took leave to care for someone. Who were you caring for? At Disneyland? Not me, not your mom, not your dad, so who?" "Wait, you called my office?" No, it was a business trip." "Enough already! We have proof! Proof of your affair!" I enjoyed watching him squirm, but my mother-in-law sternly confronted him. She pulled out evidence photos. Seeing them, he surrendered. "Sorry, I was wrong," he admitted, apologizing to both of us. But it didn't end there. Now it was interrogation time. We asked about how long the affair had been going on, his future plans with his mistress, and why he lied to us. Whether it was due to our intensity or the undeniable evidence right in front of him, he confessed all his sins straightforwardly. First, he had been cheating since shortly before our wedding. His affair was with one of the venue staff from our wedding. They started dating during the wedding planning. I thought, why not break up with me then? But his mistress was married too, so they kept it casual. Why cheat when you're married? He lied about going to his parents' house, but was actually meeting his mistress. It was a well-thought-out deception. Claiming to be a dutiful son made me not question him. If I had a bad relationship with his mom, I wouldn't ask her about his whereabouts. He tricked us both from the start. I felt so betrayed and stupid. After his confession, I handed him the signed divorce papers. He apologized, saying it was just for the thrill and he'd never do it again. He promised to break up with her, but I couldn't forgive him. He lied to me constantly. I couldn't trust him anymore. He resisted the divorce, but my mother-in-law grabbed him by the neck, and my father-in-law, who arrived after being contacted, took him away. This allowed me to prepare to move out without him finding out my new address. Their help was invaluable. After moving, I demanded a divorce through my lawyer. My husband, having been scolded by his parents, quickly agreed. I also demanded alimony from both him and his mistress. She lost her job for having an affair with a customer and got divorced too. Apparently, she demanded my husband support her. But I don't care anymore. My divorce was finalized and he paid alimony, then got kicked out by his parents. He was shunned at work for using leave for an affair trip. Cheaters get what they deserve. I was pleased he faced the consequences. My mother-in-law's support was crucial. She didn't side with her son, but held him accountable. She was really a great mother-in-law. If I could go back, I'd want to befriend her from the start. But, well, my cheating husband would have ruined our relationship anyway. I'm just glad we didn't part with misunderstandings. Now we sometimes update each other on our lives. Maybe one day we'll be good friends. That's my hope as I move forward.